I wanted to make a video to address the most frequently asked questions on this channel. Unfortunately, they're not about the faith. They're about Most Holy Family Monastery. I do realize that many of the viewers came to the faith, or back to the faith, through Most Holy Family Monastery, and that's a good thing. But infants need now, as they mature, solid food. I don't have a problem with what is being said by Most Holy Family Monastery. I have a problem with what's not being said, and therefore the conclusions that are being drawn. So each one of the premises seems to be very solid. But in order to have a true conclusion, all of your premises must be true, and they must also be complete, to come to absolute truth at least. And so I have reached out, as many people ask, why don't you reach out to the brothers? Why don't you speak to them? I have. I've tried. I have reached out by email. They say don't do that because they don't look at their emails. I have called. I even spoke one time to one of the brothers that is there, and he said he was on another phone call. He'd call me right back. He didn't. When I tried calling back after half an hour, no answer. No answer. I reached out for the next 3 days. No answer. There is goodwill here. There really is. I want the truth. And I know their platform. I know how powerful these men can be. They are, again, scholars. But they need guidance, like every other Catholic needs guidance. They need to be under a bishop, like every other Catholic needs to be under a bishop. They need to receive the sacraments, like every other Catholic needs to receive the sacraments. Their latest video, to me, is the most disturbing, where they spend an hour pointing out ridiculous claims to point to what? That Most Holy Family Monastery is ordained by God as a place in which the faith will be kept. I hope they're keeping the faith, I really do. But it's not the only place, and in fact, they may keep the faith, but they're not practicing the faith there. There is no need not to receive the sacraments. And again, we need to be cautious about who you receive them from. Absolutely. You need to make sure that you are pointing this out. But from what I have heard, and this is hearsay because I have been approached by men who have had a good relationship in the past with Most Holy Family Monastery, who are able to speak with them, who have spoken with them, and have asked them about myself. And these persons, 3 of them, have reported back to me that they have been told that I am Orthodox. They don't know of any heresy that I proclaim. Also that I have apostolic succession. They acknowledge that. But they cannot endorse me or anyone else because we might possibly in the future commit heresy, and then that would reflect back upon them. That, to me, again, is part of the effeminacy of using reason in a wrong way to draw a wrong conclusion. I want you and all men of goodwill to come to our Lord Jesus Christ. When you receive communion, you receive our Lord Jesus Christ on your tongue, but you receive him from the hand of the priest. The priest is absolutely necessary. This idea that you can receive baptism and then wait till the end of your life and go to confession, that is, to be honest, offensive. Our Lord Jesus Christ established the sacramental order. He gave to men the way to have communion with him. And yes, I know the Second Vatican Council was fraudulent, and a lot of people lost their faith over it. I have family members that lost their faith over it. But you need to be able to make a good judgment about who is bringing you to Christ and who is not. You cannot be afraid. Fear will keep you from acting and moving. And that's what I see here. I see a fear And I see that too because all they talk about lately is the end times. That's all fear. Perfect love overcomes all fear. That love that you would have, the sacrifice that you would make in order to come to be with Christ. And you need to take a chance because love makes you vulnerable. God is vulnerable in our hands, and we are vulnerable in one another's hands, but we must continue to reach out in love. Some that hear this may say, that makes sense. Others are going to say, you know what? I don't know who to trust. I'm just going to stay with where I'm at. Just going to stay and not do anything. In fact, not having to be responsible for my damnation, I feel better with that than to say that I'm responsible for my salvation. Our Lord Jesus Christ alone gives you salvation. You do not give it to yourself. You do not take it by desire or anything else. But you also must freely take it. It's offered. Please pray about this. Think about it. And I want to leave you again with this. I want unity. True unity. Not compromised unity. True unity. True communion. And I know that I am just a part and not the whole of that. But the part that I can provide is a part that these other men cannot provide for you. They have a great amount of talent, and I'm sure they have a love for God and the church. They've proven it by their sacrifice. But they themselves are not complete either. None of us are. We are made complete in our communion with Christ and His church. And that communion requires a priest. A priest who is obedient and follows the ritual, who has been ordained by a man who was consecrated by that ritual. There is the ritual of the consecration of a bishop. There is the ritual of the ordination of a priest. There is a ritual of the holy sacrifice of the Mass. There is a ritual of absolving in the sacrament of penance. These rituals are the apostolic succession. They connect us directly to Christ. It is through the ritual that grace flows to you and repairs or redeems you. Desire motivates us to achieve that good, but desire in itself cannot provide for it. And I know there's many people here who will fight very vehemently. There's no such thing as baptism of desire and baptism of blood, and yet they will enter into a desire of marriage. They will say, that's okay. Or desire of confession. I will receive because I'm invincibly ignorant, I guess, I will receive absolution without a priest. The church has spoken about these things in the case where death is imminent and there is no possibility of having a priest there. And in that case, the church supplies. But you're not going to fool the church to think it's going to supply for you when you're just acting out of laziness and out of fear instead of out of zeal and love for God. So I hope this explains a little bit our position, and that I'm still, to this day, I want unity. I will speak to either one of the Diamond Brothers or anyone. I will speak to them. If they want to have a online debate, I don't like a debate. I don't think it needs to be a debate. I think what we need to do is put a theological inquiry in place to be able to come to the truth, because there is a truth. The truth is a divine person, and it's absolute. And you're either united to it or you're not. So let's work to be united to that absolute truth. And then we'll be united to one another and to God. God bless you. And please pray for this.